So Highland Noise Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
It's a throwback Thursday recorded on a Wednesday, posted on a Monday. I had to think about that one for a second.
You got it on the first try, though.
I did. I almost fucked it up.
Dude, I saw like the cog in your brain kind of jolt for a second, but you kept it going. It got greased up just in time, man.
The wheels were spinning hard trying to remember how this shit goes. Well, last week we wrapped up Sleeping with Sirens and their discography with the most recent record, Complete Collapse. And then Gloria and I were like, hey, what's next? And we decided on Black Veil Brides, hence the title of the video you just clicked on. We're diving into Black Veil Brides and their discography now. Kicking it off with their 2010 record, We Stitch These Wounds. I think something important to note is I feel like there's like a time in your life where you get into this band and it is past the point where you and I are at currently. I think that
we missed the jumping point.
Well, you know? I didn't. You did.
Oh, well, I did. A boy that I liked at that age was into Black Veil Brides. I tried, and I think I still missed the point because Anyway, sorry.
Sorry. Because like I got into this band like sophomore year of high school when I was discovering everything else. I discovered My Chemical Romance and then went down the rabbit hole from there. This is one of those bands that I found pretty early on with Knives and Pens. That very impressionable teenage age, preteen, teen age is, I think, the best time. The angst time is the best time to get into this band. You can appreciate it later on in life, but I think it's a little bit harder maybe to get into when you are, especially the older stuff, because the older stuff is very much just teen angst like that. That's what this record is in a nutshell, and that's why it resonated with me so much growing up. I mean, I went back to look at my Last FM plays on this record, and I have over 900 scrabbles of tracks on this record. I went back to go look because I've listened to The Mortician's Daughter 5 times. And all the times I've listened to this record, I've listened to it 5 times because I am such a hater of slow songs in the middle of the record that the way I've listened to this album hundreds of times is Knives and Pens Into All Your Hate because I'm like, slow song, boop.
Forget about it.
So this is the Black Veil Brides record I spent the most time with. This is what got me into the band. I really appreciate the record for what it is and what it does, and the fact that it's very much a time capsule for the period it came out in 2010. The production on this record is not great, but I think that adds.
The production on this record sucks ass.
It sucks ass, but they re-recorded it for the 10-year anniversary, and it then loses the charm of the record
because now it's just shit.
Yes, because now it's polished, and yeah, sure, it sounds great and the songs still hold up, because I think that there's a reason why the band catapulted with this record. I mean, they were nobody, and then this album just sent them into the stratosphere. But you're polishing it, and I think that the grit and the grime and quite frankly the poor production of this record adds to the overall angst that this album it adds charm, which is not always something that comes through with poor production on beginning albums in bands' discography. But I think it fits for this record in a weird way. But yeah, I do really like this record. I have a soft spot for it. I have a soft spot for Black Veil Brides in general. I do really appreciate them as a band, and But this record, continues to blow me away. There's certain songs on here that on the right day, right time will still give me goosebumps to this day. And I think it's just like the vocal performance from Andy on this record is just so gritty and, very
juvenile,
raw, very raw.
Yeah.
And I like that. You can feel that he's feeling the things he's saying. which is something that, although I'm not always listening to the lyricism in general, it's something we've talked about on here in a couple of interviews, mainly with internet friends. That's the one where it really came up. Like me personally, I'm not always listening to the lyrics. I'm listening to the delivery of those lyrics, and I think that this record really encapsulates that with Andy's vocal performance. Are the lyrics always the best? No, that goes across their entire discography. It does not get much better from here in terms of lyricism, but
it's just one of those bands.
But he sells it, especially on this record, because I really do think that he's feeling the things that are being said. Like I said, I got a soft spot for this record. I could sit here and talk about my time with it and how I've spent so many years with this record and where I was at in life when I discovered it and all that fucking shit.
You already did.
But I'll save even more stories. And just so many favorites on this record. We Stitch These Wounds, the title track is a hit for a reason. Knives and Pens is the big song for a reason. That song absolutely rips. I like All Your Hate. I think that song's really catchy. Sweet Blasphemy, Perfect Weapon, Beautiful Remain, Children Surrender. I'm naming every single song except The Mortician's Daughter. Fuck that song.
I feel like that's like your favorite song, right? You're waiting to the end to be like, and the reason I haven't is because I love it so much,
Sure. And then Carolyn is a very nice way to close the record off. It's on the slower side, but it picks up, and I do appreciate that as the closer. Yeah, I think that this is up there in terms of like really, really solid scene staple records. This is up there on that list for me. I'm not going to say that this is a perfect record by any stretch, but this is up there on my like tier list if we were going to do like a top 25 to top 50, because I spent so much time with this record at a formative age.
Really?
Yeah. And I spent a lot of fucking time with it. I spent a lot of time with it. Is it something that like in 2025 I'm like, I'm gonna listen to Black Veil Brides, We Stitch These Wounds? No. But I also say the same thing about My Chemical Romance's The Black Parade, and that would also be on that list, albeit a lot higher.
That's like I was gonna say that's like probably top 3 for you, honestly, because you spend every single year for the last fucking 8 years now. You've started your year off with The Black Parade. I haven't listened to it in a while in full. I need to. Well, we just reviewed it, so it's probably been like 5 months or something. But
yeah, you're right. We did just review it.
I missed the mark, even though, as I said, I tried. When I think I was like 11. I think that was when it was in like a little group, and one of the guys in the group was a big Black Veil Brides fan. Like, and I liked him, so I was like, okay, like show me some of their stuff. I like alternative music. I liked My Chemical Romance, 21 Pilots, and
Dodie.
And Dodie. Fucking whoa, okay. Ooh,
This ain't no Dodie.
This ain't no Dodie. So I remember he like sat me down and we watched like 3 music videos like back to back, and there was one with like flames and shit. But that's like every fucking metalcore band in 2010 had like flames. It reminded me of like Famous Last Words, the kind of setup for it. But again, that's like that era of music, so I can't be like, oh, it's so creative, because it's fucking everyone's doing it. I missed it. I missed the jump. And now I'm like fighting to get in, and every piece of me is like, this shit is so corny. It's so corny. I wish I liked it. I wish I really did, because I understand the impact that they have and still do have on the scene. I watched a clip of an interview that Andy did. I'm not sure. Maybe it was with Sirius. Maybe it was with Adobe. I don't know. One of those, major publications. And he was talking about how Black Veil, he believes that the reason people are doing makeup again in metal is because of Black Veil Brides. And I completely agree with him, because they were getting shit on the entire duration of their career, and still were up until recently, because I think they just now stopped doing like the full face of makeup. I think now it's mainly Motionless that does that still. But they kind of kept it going from the scene shit that was happening in I say scene, like hair bands and whatnot. So if they're not having a musical influence, they're still having the influence of the aesthetic and stage presence and kind of look of an overall band, which I think is really cool, because it still shows that people are still looking up to them. Bands are still taking influence. He named like Sleep Token and That's the only one that's coming to mind because they paint their whole fucking bodies black. Whatever. That's not the same thing. It's fine. Um, I thought the album was fine. For a person who's trying to get into it, I think it's just fine. To me, because I know the entire discography of Avenged Sevenfold, all I could hear was Avenged Sevenfold influence. Um, the drums and just the instrumentals sounded so heavily influenced. Like it sounded like the drummer was trying to um bring in the Rev,
Hmm.
because it was around the time of his passing was when this record was released, because Nightmare came out the same year. I believe it was maybe like 2008 where the Rev passed. So a lot of people were obviously paying respects and whatnot, and I feel like they just ran with it because this shit, especially like the first half of the record, which unironically is my favorite half of the record, sounds one to one to like Avenged Sevenfold, to like maybe not their self-titled, but like what is it fucking is it Awaken the Fallen? It's just like a lot of their older stuff, the Nightmare and before, basically. They get like I don't know what it is. It's just like that grime, that arena rock, that it's just that scene like style
Hmm.
that they really honed in on. And it's just it's a product of the times, I guess. It's just the most purest product of the time. And I guess that's why it didn't really amaze me or wow me because I've already heard this before. Because in my opinion, I've heard the original, which is Avenged Sevenfold's earlier shit. So no, it would probably yeah, it would be the self-titled because self-titled came out in 2007. So all that to say, I think it's fine. Um, Heavily influenced, which is typically how most debuts start because you're trying to find your own spot, you're trying to find your own place. But I'm not the biggest Avenged Sevenfold fan either. So, it's kind of like, no, it's good, but it's good in the sense of like, I still personally wouldn't go out of my way to listen to this. I'd go see it live. I've
Hmm.
seen Black Veil Brides live like 50 times, and I think they're incredible live. I think the stage presence is great. I think Andy's a great frontman. I love them. But they're a live band for me. I hope it changes because I haven't really gotten into their discography. So I'm cautiously optimistic with this review plan because I want to get into them. Um, Unlike the last one where they lost me like two albums in. Shout out Sleeping with Sirens. Yeah, but that's my review.
Yeah, yeah. Well, those are our thoughts on Black Veil Brides and their 2010 record, "We Stitch These Wounds." Like you've been
Hmm.
saying, we're diving into the whole discography. We're going all the way. With this band, gonna chat about every record. So if you're a Black Veil Brides fan, want to hear our opinions, you got one person that's been into the band since I got into heavy music, and
Hmm.
one that's knows of the band and is listening to a lot of these records for the first time. You get both sides of the coin with this
Exactly.
series. So if you're curious on our opinions, subscribe to us here on YouTube. It helps us out a ton. And it's the only place that we post these throwback reviews, so you can only hear them here. And you can see
Hmm.
us, which is, I feel, the icing on the cake. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. Other streaming services are all Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Other than that, I've been Shane.
I have been
And
Glory.
we have been the Good Noise Podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.